Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is playing interference or running interference for Floridians who have listened to anti-vaccine propaganda and continue to remain unvaccinated. Now, he did this during a recent press conference. Let's hear what he has to say.
We obviously have some people that are not vaccinated that have been admitted to hospitals. Are you going to sit there? Are you going to sit there and criticize? Or are we going to try to treat and try to help the folks? You know, I'm just sick of this I'm sick of the judgmental stuff on some of this stuff. Nobody's trying to get ill here. Okay, it's there's people that were hermits for a year and a half that wore 6 masks and did that and still contracted it. Okay, so let's just be real here, and let's not indulge these things that somehow it's their fault for not doing it.
So there are, look, let me just say, people who are getting vaccinated, people who are getting hospitalized with COVID right now, people who are dying due to COVID. It's just the most frustrating and tragic thing, considering this long, drawn out pandemic. I mean, if they're being hospitalized right now, if they're dying right now from this virus, it could have been prevented with the vaccine. There's no reason for people to die right now. And that's the part that's incredible. It's not, I know it comes across as judgmental because yes, there's a part of me, at least, I'm not speaking for everyone, that judges them, that judges people who are like gallivanting around town with anti-vax propaganda, which is getting people killed. But for the people who are already hospitalized, for the people who are dying right now because they chose not to get the vaccine, it's tragic. It's tragic. And it's so frustrating that their thought process is enabled by the disinformation that comes out of right-wing outlets. And yes, people like Ron DeSantis as well.
Yeah, and in particular, there's a couple issues. So one is that he wants you to believe that he won the pandemic. His PR team got articles written after he'd already failed and tens of thousands had died and stuff. But now he wants you to believe that he won the pandemic. Well, I'm sorry, you don't get to win the pandemic when you do a press conference like that and it is clear to you that you don't care whether your own constituents live or die. Like, he didn't say, get off my back, we're not gonna do mandates. But again, to those of you in Florida, I beg of you to get the vaccine. It is safe, it's effective, it's available, it's free. You should really get it. I'm not gonna allow the government to require to, but you should really get, he's not doing that. He's just not doing that. And so, I'm looking at on August 3rd, 100 deaths were logged in Florida. So if they were all vaccinated, it would be 2, 4?
I mean,
I don't know, do you care about 96 people in Florida? You don't seem like you particularly care.
If you're vaccinated, you have a 0.01% chance of dying from COVID, okay? Can you still contract the virus, especially the Delta variant? Can you get what's called breakthrough infection? Yes, but even that is severely diminished. Like the likelihood of that is severely diminished by getting the vaccine. And if you have a breakthrough infection, as Senator Lindsey Graham just experienced, your symptoms will be mild compared to what they would be if you were unvaccinated. That's why this is so tragic, because no one needs to die right now. At this point, we are an incredibly fortunate country in that we have an endless supply of the vaccine, while other countries do not. Other countries are dying to get their hands on enough doses of the vaccine to get like 10% of their population vaccinated. In the meantime, here in America, we've got media outlets discouraging people from taking the vaccine. You have Americans who need to be enticed by raffles and games in order to get vaccinated. And people are filling up ICUs again with new coronavirus infections because of the very, in my opinion, intentional disinformation that was put out there by bad faith actors, because they decided to take a pandemic and turn it into a nonsense culture war issue.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's, remember, with the masks, it was a badge of honor, right? It was a badge of honor for right wingers to avoid following through with mask mandates. It was like, yeah, my bare face, this is my badge of honor. This is my culture war symbol. My refusal to wear a mask. It is my culture war symbol to walk into a grocery store and harass essential workers who are already underpaid, overworked, and are risking their own lives to do their jobs.
Yep.
I mean, it's shameful. So are people being judged? Yeah, I judge people like Governor Ron DeSantis, people like him, who just refuse to do the right thing to keep their own constituents safe. It's not that difficult. And just to give you more numbers on Florida, Florida reported its highest ever number of daily COVID-19 cases on Friday, recording more than 21,000 new cases in one day. Hospitalizations have also increased by more than 1,000 since June, and 95% of those hospitalized and almost all of the recent deaths have been among unvaccinated people.
Yep. We had 145,000 cases the last day, and 1/3 of those were in just Florida and Texas, where they know better. They're not sheep. They're just really sick with COVID. Yeah, and they like most of them, they're not, they'll never do the thing where they come and say, you should not get the vaccine. They'll leave that to the formerly yoga moms on Instagram. No, they just only talk about it through the lens of this is about government control. You don't want to be a sheep to the government, do you? And they'll just say that over and over and over again. And what do you know? Some people don't want to get it. And so they'll get needlessly sick. I saw like an hour ago, there was a Florida, no, it was Texas. It was a GOP official in Texas who 5 days ago was posting nonsense about how it's made up and it's fake and everything. He died today. Like,
friend of mine.
That's sad. I'm not one of those people that's like happy about that. I think it's super sad. But it's even sadder when we've had that exact same story over and over and over and over again. He must have come across one, never thinking, I'm gonna be one of those someday. I'm gonna needlessly die. He's a new father. Now his kids don't have a father. Because he thought it was fun. It's a tragedy.
It's government control. Okay, why don't you go around running red lights? I mean, if that's the lens in which you view everything, how do you see this as dangerous government control? But all of the rules and regulations that we all abide by, like, the reason why they exist is so, look, some rules and regulations don't make sense. A lot of them do though. And the reason why people abide by them is because we don't want chaos. We don't want people getting injured, people dying when we can prevent it by following rules and regulations. It's weird that this is, for some people, the red line on government control. It's crazy. People are trying to save your life. Okay, I mean, and that's the other thing. I'm a firm believer in your body, your choice, but this isn't about like getting a piercing. This isn't about something that only impacts you. This is something that impacts the people around you. And so the virus keeps mutating. We're now hearing about Delta Plus. They found Delta Plus in other countries already. Like it keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps getting worse, it keeps mutating. I mean, it's endless. And the reason why people now have to wear masks indoors, whether they're vaccinated or unvaccinated, is because vaccinated people can still contract the virus and spread it. They're unlikely to get super sick from it, they're unlikely to die from it, but if they spread it to an unvaccinated person, it's a much higher likelihood that they'll get very sick and die. So people who did everything right and got vaccinated now have to inconvenience themselves when they're indoors with others because unvaccinated people refuse to do the bare minimum in keeping themselves and the people around them safe. So are we allowed to judge on that? I don't know, I don't care if we're allowed to or not. But on that, yes, I'm judging people who just refuse to be reasonable about this.
Last thing I want to say, I don't know if it's just a complete, like just having no idea what you're saying, the context, or if it's sort of like having fun with it. But I was watching, I saw a transcript of a talk on Real America News or Real Eagle Forum, I don't know, one of those things. And it was some guy, the same as all of them. They made 100 and they just put them on all these different channels. And Tommy Lauren said, you see these vaccine mandates now in New York, you're gonna see it in LA. And if you're in one of these red states, you have to stop it before it starts. And she said, before, like the road to socialism, she said, before it has time to mutate. She said that about the mandates for vaccination. I don't think that she's necessarily the smartest person in the world, but I don't think that she's so ignorant to do that by accident. I think she's mocking the people that she's appealing to right there. I think that is her, like, mocking the fact that her advocacy will lead to them dying. What a sick, sick life.
And we're talking about people who are very likely fully vaccinated.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right? 100%. I mean, think about that. We did a story yesterday about Lindsey Graham and his breakthrough infection. He's fully vaccinated, but so are, it's been confirmed, 98 other senators. The other 2 haven't been confirmed, but it's likely the other 2 are vaccinated as well. Isn't it fascinating how people in positions of power were among the first to have access to the vaccine? So are they all microchipped? Are they all magnetic? Are they all gonna die soon because they got No, like the thing that persuaded some of my family members to get vaccinated was Meghan McCain throwing a temper tantrum when the vaccine wasn't accessible to everyone, when they were still, limiting it based on, essential workers, healthcare workers, that kind of stuff. Remember, Meghan McCain threw a temper tantrum on The View, and I remember my mom was like, oh, I'm getting the vaccine. That rich woman wants it, I want it. So thank you, Meghan McCain, for doing something right and helping out some of my family members. But more than half of Americans are fully vaccinated at this point. Is half of the US population gonna die from a dangerous vaccine that
I don't know. Or
makes
just
no
all
sense.
stick together as a big magnetic ball of flesh. I don't know.
I had Woodstock 99, I guess.
You're gonna work that into every show.
Dude, it's one of my, honestly, I can't stop thinking about that documentary. I can't stop thinking about it.
I did not see it.
Bart.
I know, Bart's excited.
Thank you for that recommendation. Craig as well. We had a long conversation about it before I watched it. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. It's on HBO.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.